Hey everyone, welcome back to That One Game Story. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the complete story of Little Nightmares from Tarsier Studios. Join me as we follow Six, a small girl trapped deep within a massive metal vessel known only as the Maw. This eerie place serves as both a prison and a resort for monstrous, gluttonous guests. Six is all alone and everything around her towers over her. If she wants to survive, she must escape or face a fate far more horrifying than she could ever imagine. To fully understand this nightmare, we must step inside it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy That One Game Story, Little Nightmares. Our story begins in the cold mechanical depths of the mall, where a small girl named Six awakens with a jolt. Barefooted and fragile, she is wrapped in a worn yellow raincoat that clings to her damp skin. She doesn't remember falling asleep, yet here she is, curled up inside a battered suitcase as if she were meant to be hidden away. Six catches her breath as she remembers her dream. In this dream, there was a tall woman draped in silk. Her face was hidden from view. Although she didn't speak, Six could still feel her cold glaze lingering. Who was she? More urgently, where was Six now? Pulling herself from the suitcase, her thin fingers trembling, she steadies herself on the damp iron floor. She pats herself down and finds tucked inside the right pocket of her raincoat a tiny lighter. She flicks it open, and a small flame dances to life, casting flickering shadows across the grimy walls. It's a weak light, but in this place of endless darkness, it feels like a lifeline. With no time to waste, Six steps forward, the flame guiding her through the narrow, claustrophobic corridors of the mall. Her small frame moves silently and quickly from floor to floor. She knows this place is wrong. It smells of decay and echoes, with whispers of things that shouldn't exist. But Six doesn't stop. She presses onwards into the darkness, determined to survive whatever horrors lie ahead, and perhaps uncover why she was brought here in the first place. Six footsteps echo softly as she moves deeper into the mall. She steps into a room that steals the breath from her lungs. Hanging in the center, suspended by a noose from the ceiling, is the lifeless body of a man. His feet dangled just above the floor. Her heart pounding in her chest as her mind races. Did he do this to himself, she wonders? Or did someone else do this to him? The questions twisted her stomach, but she forces herself to look away as she turns from the room and continues on, navigating through the unstable structure with care. Suddenly, a squelching noise interrupts the silence. From the ceiling pipes, black, slimy leeches begin to fall, wiggling to life. Their slick bodies slither towards her, their mouths resembling circular saws lined with rows of teeth designed to feed. She pushes forward, dodging the leeches from above. Six barely escapes, but before she can catch her breath, Six finds herself inside a chamber that is darker than anything she has encountered before. The floor moves beneath her. More leeches, dozens of them, everywhere. Six quickly scrambles to her feet as the leeches lunge at her. She races forward, barely staying ahead of the swarm as they close in from all sides. Bursting through the narrow opening, heart pounding and face slick with sweat, she doesn't stop to look back. Finally, she emerges into a massive open area. It's quieter here, but that only makes the next sound more terrifying. Is someone inside that cage? She wonders. Where are they being taken? The way the thought crushes her, and for a moment she wonders, do they know I escaped? Are they looking for me? But she pushes it all down, locking it away. She can't afford to freeze again. She has to keep going. Eventually, she reaches another dimly lit room. Six eyes widen. In the beam of the light, she sees them, small stone figures that were once children. Their limbs are frozen mid-motion, and their faces are twisted in fear. They used to be like her, but now they're nothing but stone. She presses her back against the wall, waiting for the spotlight to pass. Her heart thunders in her ears as she waited for her moment to move. Six slips past the deadly beam of light, holding her breath tight in her chest. The stone statues of the children were behind her now. She didn't look back. She couldn't. The maw had already shown her what hesitation could cost. She continued to climb higher, her hands gripping the cold, slick metal as she pulled herself into the next room. This room felt different, warmer, quieter. She blinked to adjust her eyes to the sight of rows of small beds. It was children sleeping peacefully. The air was still and the children were silent. Why are they here? She wondered. Are they trapped in this place too? Should I wake them and help them escape? But before she could act, before she could even finish the thought, the door in the center opened. Six dove quickly behind one of the beds. This was the creature she had seen earlier, dragging a cage. He looked even worse close up. He was short and stocky, his skin appeared sickly and pale, and his oversized head drooped low. The skin above his brow crumbled into heavy folds that completely blinded him. Beneath those folds, the top of his skull gleamed bare, as if the skin had given up trying to conceal it. The sight made her stomach twist. But it was his mouth that made her breath catch. The jagged, ear-to-ear grin, filled with the sharp, uneven teeth that clicked and grounded together, as though he were constantly chewing on something he couldn't quite swallow. It was a smile without happiness. His legs were short, but every waddling step he took seemed to shake the floor. His arms were impossibly long and trailed behind him like grotesque ropes. As he moved across the room, Six noticed a name tag that read Roger. She wondered if Roger was the reason she was down here, and what was he doing with the cage she had seen him drag away. Six waited for the moment to be clear, and she ran as fast as she could across the room and escaped into the next area. Once she made it into the next area, she thought she had a moment to breathe, until it hit her. Warmth returned to her limbs as the worst of the ache subsided. As her strength began to return, she quickly thanked him and continued to make her way out as she reached a long platform with a door at the end. But as soon as she stepped onto it, Six enters a vast open chamber and proceeds to make her way up a long stairwell. About halfway up, she notices an open doorway and steps inside to investigate. The room resembled an office, cluttered with old furniture and scattered with papers. Just then, a flash of movement caught her eye. A small gnome wearing a pointy hat darted across the room and slipped into a closet. Moments later, she heard a soft click as if something had been triggered. Curious, she opens the closet but found nothing inside. Puzzled, Six sensed a hidden door nearby. As she searched, her foot accidentally presses against a loose floorboard, producing a clicking sound. It was a pressure plate, indicating that the secret door requires something heavy to trigger it. Spotting a wooden chair, she places it on the plate, and the mechanism clicks again. And the back of the closet slowly opens, revealing a hidden passage. Six enters a dimly lit chamber. Her attention was drawn to a strange control console in the center of the room. It appeared simple and almost inviting, featuring just a single button. Without hesitation, Six pulls a chair up to the console. Her fingers hover for a moment before pressing the button, causing a giant eye-shaped screen to flicker to life. The first image displayed the same room of the sleeping children she had seen earlier. They were all still and silent. Curious, she presses the button again, and the feed changes, showing her the gnomes that she had been encountering throughout her escape through the mall. She proceeds to press the button once more. The screen reveals a pantry with a mysterious figure standing silently in the back. Its face was hidden, but its presence felt deeply unsettling. Although Six couldn't see the figure's face, she sensed something was wrong. The figure didn't move or blink, yet she felt as if it were watching her, aware of her presence. Another press of the button brought up an image of a staircase, worn and wooden resemblance of a real home. It was as if the screen was guiding her to follow. With one final press, the screen changed again, and Six's face turned pale. There, sitting calmly beside a broken vanity mirror, was the woman from her dream, the lady. Combing her hair, Six stared, frozen in place. Was this the one behind everything? The sleeping children? Roger? The mall? Was she the reason Six was here? Six presses the button one last time, and the screen slowly dims as the mechanical eye closes, sealing away the visions away. She had seen everything it wanted her to see. Without saying a word, she moves on, carrying with her the unsettling images and the growing sense that the answers she sought were just ahead. Leaving the area behind, Six continues to make her way up the stairwell that leads her into the next section of the mall. After pushing through several twisted, shadowy rooms, she comes across an elevator, hoping it might be her way out. However, when she activates it, the elevator begins to descend instead of rising. Uneasy and uncertain, she wonders where it was taking her. When the elevator finally stopped, the doors opened into a long, dark hallway with almost no light. As she stepped out, something twisted inside her, a sharp sensation that felt all too familiar: the hunger. Six finds herself waking up inside a cage. Off to her side, she was able to see Roger dragging away a cage that held a helpless child. The sight filled her with fear and determination. She refused to let that be her fate. She proceeds to rock the cage back and forth until it finally topped over and broke open, allowing her to escape. Bruised but determined, she crawls out of the room and into a new area of the mall. She enters a room filled with empty cages and torn cloth all over the floor. And that's when she saw Roger again. She froze, watching as he wrapped children in cloth and placed them on a conveyor belt type hook, the kinds that you normally see in meat processing factories. Six knew she needed to get past Roger, or she could be next. Moving carefully, she placed each foot with precision. The fall knocks the wind out of her, but at least she was safe for now. Six begins to navigate through the passage that leads to a vast sunken pit filled entirely with old discarded shoes. As she took a step, the shoes shifted beneath her. Then something moved, something large. Six eyes widened as she saw the shoes ripple from below. Something was hunting her. She started leaping between piles of shoes, trying to stay above as much as possible. She landed on an old suitcase and then another, narrowly avoiding the unseen creature. Six escapes the pit, with only a few scrapes and bruises. Then she proceeds to enter the next area, hoping to be safe, even if it's just for a minute. After navigating through several rooms, all while avoiding Roger, she finds herself what looks like a massive library. Towering bookshelves loom overhead, and at the entrance, she spots a device that requires a lever. Realizing the lever might be hidden somewhere within the library, she begins to climb the bookshelves. As she began her search, Roger was lurking below. His long arms reached to the gaps in the shelves whenever she made a noise. Finally, Six climbs into an upper room where she spotted the lever. She had found it, but now she was stuck in this room with no exit in sight. As she scans the room, she notices a TV. With the lever in place, Six is able to reach the next area of the mall, hoping this is the last time she'll encounter Roger. 6 made her way into the upper corridors of the mall. As she moved deeper, she heard the rattling sound of a conveyor belt just above her. She saw the same meat hooks Roger had once used, but this time something larger was tightly wrapped in the white cloth. At first glance, she thought they may have been the children she saw Roger wrapping up earlier. However, something about their size and weight felt different. These were too big. Whatever they were on a journey to a dark place, somewhere she didn't want to follow, but had no choice. Six timed her leap perfectly and grabbed on to a passing hook as it carried her forward through the vast, echoing chamber. The hook glided steadily through the next chamber, where she released her grip and dropped down onto a large pile of cloth-wrapped bodies. She forced herself not to imagine what they were and pushed forward into the next room. When the hunger finally loosened its grip, Six stared at the lifeless body in horror. If this is what the hunger could turn her into now, what will it make her do next? What would she be willing to eat to survive? She shook her head and turned away. She didn't want to know the answer. All she knew was that she had to escape this place before the mall transformed her into something unrecognizable. Without a second glance, she pressed on into the shadows. Six navigated through a series of rooms deep within the mall, each filled with containers stacked high with wrapped bodies. Eventually, she entered a pantry that felt oddly familiar. She remembered seeing this very space through the giant eye-shaped screen from earlier. In that moment, she recalled spotting someone inside. Continuing on, Six entered a large kitchen and spotted a disturbing figure. It was a chef with a toddler-like structure and short and pudgy limbs. His greasy hair barely peeked out from underneath a tall white chef's hat, and his uniform was splattered with blood and filth. Six carefully maneuvers through the kitchen, staying out of the chef's sight. She ends up finding a locked door that blocked her path from going forward. Realizing that she needed a key, she begins to backtrack and discovers what appears to be a bedroom. It was dark, and in the faint light, she saw two beds, side by side. Something or someone was sleeping there. At the far end of the room, a key was dangling from the hook. From beneath the bed, she spotted him. He wasn't just another chef. He was nearly identical to the first, sharing bloated limbs and a chef uniform. But his face was subtly distorted. They were twins. One twin had a wall-eyed stare and a sagging mouth, while the other had a cross-eyed squint and a tight fish-like pucker. The danger had now doubled. Now Six had to escape not one, but two of these monstrous cooks. Clutching the key tightly, she proceeds to make her way back into the kitchen, all while carefully sneaking past the first chef who was still roaming the area. She began to wonder where the second one had gone. His absence was unsettling. She unlocks the next area and discovers another locked door, along with the elevator nearby. She proceeds to flip the switch, hoping the elevator could lead her into an area where she can find the key. Had she waited, as the chef disappeared through the doorway, Six took her chance and slipped inside. He was butchering what she hoped was a pig, and just out of his reach was the key that she needed. She just had to distract him. Six carefully moves through the shadows, and in the adjacent room she spots a meat grinder with one of the wrapped bodies stuffed inside. This was going to be her distraction. She proceeds to turn the machine on, and ducks into the next room as the chef went in to investigate the noise. With him gone, she darted across the room, snatches the key, and rushes back to the elevator. Six had landed in a garbage pit, but she was safe for now. Looking around, she spotted a small vent to the right and proceeded to climb into it. While climbing through the tight space, she began to hear loud bickering. She realized that she was now below the dishwashing room and could see the twins scrubbing dishes above. Six begins to weave her way through the room, carefully staying out of sight of both of the chefs. At the far end, she reaches a switch that controls the direction of the conveyor belt. She proceeds to flip it, and the hooks begin to move in reverse towards her. This was going to be her escape. She just had to reach them. Six proceeds to backtrack through the kitchen, all while avoiding both of the chefs. She eventually makes it to the other side of the dishwashing room and spots a tall shelf stacked with pots and dishes. She begins to climb the unstable structure. She reaches the top and proceeds to leap onto one of the passing hooks. Six makes her way to the outside of the mall. She could see the exterior of the mall for the first time. Off in the distance, a boat was docking, and rows of mysterious guests were aboarding. Six adventured deeper into the mall, feeling an unsettling vibration beneath her feet. As she moved forward, she discovered the source of this disturbance. It was the mysterious guests she had seen marching in earlier. They were entering what looked to be some type of restaurant. As Six climbed inside, she took a closer look at the guests. They were obese figures with short limbs and bloated faces. Crawling into another room, Six paused in horror. Meat of every kind was scattered everywhere throughout the room. She wondered if these dishes came from the cloth-wrapped bodies she had seen earlier, the ones that were handled by the twin chefs. Six stepped forward, quiet as a whisper, but froze when she spotted a male guest devouring what looked to be a mountain of pork chops and ham. His lips smacked, grease dripping from his chin, as his stubbly fingers crawled at the table for more. Six continued through this terrifying restaurant, moving cautiously from room to room as she evaded the horrifying guests. She crawled under tables, slipped into the shadows, and hid from their monstrous gaze. Each moment was a narrowing escape. Along the way, Six encountered an old foe. Six was able to sneak past the chef as she made her way onto the elevator. As she reached the top floor, the room was filled with the loud snoring of the guests. Six entered the next area, feeling the hunger has returned, stronger and more painful than before. Horrified by her actions, Six realized how much the hunger was changing her. She knew she had to escape the mall before it completely consumed her. Pushing forward, she enters the next area and heard an elevator door open. Stepping inside calmly and gracefully was the lady, the same ghostly figure from her dream, elegant and cloaked in mystery. Six didn't hesitate. She rushed towards the elevator, her determination replacing fear. Whatever answers the lady held were her last hope. The hunger, Roger, the sleeping children, the cloth wrapped bodies, the twin chefs, and the mall. Everything had led to this moment. Now, Six was ready to pursue her, even into the heart of the nightmare, to finally uncover the truth. Six stepped off the elevator and found herself in a familiar room. She had seen this room before, earlier in her journey. She immediately sensed that the lady was nearby. As she made her way up the staircase, she spotted a locked door. Six continued making her way up, looking for the key. As she made her way up, she noticed disturbing photos of various individuals hanging on the wall. She wondered if these were the photos of the lady's family. Once Six reached the top, she heard a soft humming echo through the halls. Following the humming, Six entered a room where she found the lady at a broken vanity, humming quietly as she brushed her hair. Six tiptoed into the next room and spotted a vase on a high shelf, certain that the key was inside. As she climbed up and knocked it over, it revealed the hidden key that she needed, and the humming stopped. Fearing she had been discovered, Six quickly hid under the bed, but the lady did not come in. Seizing the opportunity, Six grabbed the key and went downstairs to unlock the door. Beyond the door lay a long, shadowy storage room. As Six navigated through the darkness, she felt an unsettling sensation. Something was watching her. Desperate to escape, she found a small boarded up room among the mannequins. In this room, all the mirrors were broken except for one on top of a drawer. That's when it clicked. The lady was afraid of her own reflection. Every broken mirror in this room whispered this truth. This one left untouched must be special. Six climbed up, grabbed the small mirror, and returned to the mannequin filled chamber. There in the distance, the lady stood with her back to her. This was it, Six's moment. At last, the lady collapsed in the center of the room, broken and defeated. Then, the hunger returned. This time, more fiercer than ever. But Six no longer feared it. She embraced it. As the lady's life faded, a dark aura began to swirl around Six. Six felt no fear. The lady's power flowed into Six, wrapping her in a thick black mist. It felt like a reward, a sense of fulfillment. Six stood tall, drenched in shadows and power. Her hunger finally faded, bringing that one game story to a close.